making circles, squares, and we're going to do some lines, basically to represent the cylinder and the square and the attachment hose that basically was used on the Apollo 13 mission. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to go to Insert, and we want to make a shape or two. You'll see this looks like a circle. We'll go ahead and we'll draw a circle. It doesn't matter really what size it is, because we're going to resize it later. You can see up here we can go ahead and change the color, and if we do the drop down we can actually make it black. And at this time we're going to come up and do the size window, and we're going to reduce it down to 1 inch height and 1 inch width. Now we have our circle, same as the circle over there. Well, we're going to need 2 of these, so basically we want to do a copy and then we'll do a paste. That way we have 2 circles, basically the same representation as we have here. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw, in the draw tools, a square. Basically we choose the rectangle tool to do that. Doesn't, like I said before, it doesn't really matter what the shape is. We're going to go ahead and we're going to change the background and change the foreground, and then we're going to use the size tool to make it 1 inch by 1 inch. That way we have a square, same as what we have over here. We'll right click on that, we'll copy it, and we'll paste it, and now we have 2 squares. But we're, first of all, rather than trying to rotate 2 at the exact angle, let me remove this first one, and then this little green dot, what we'll do is we'll rotate it around to about a 30-degree angle, similar to what we have over here, somewhere in that neighborhood. And then we'll make a copy of it at that point and paste the copy in, and now we can actually go through and make a box or a square, I should say. Then the next thing we want to do is we want to insert shape, use the line tool, and get it right on the corner, and see if we can draw lines between each one of these segments. Go up, pick up the line tool again, and represent just exactly what we've already have over here. We're using this as kind of our template. So at this point, what we'll do is we'll go back and change it and make it the same line weight as before. The next thing we have to do, let me adjust this one up a little bit. Is draw some lines, because you see this back box, you don't see it when you're actually doing an isometric. So what we'll do is we'll bring up the shapes again, and you draw lines from this area here of the box up to this one, and then we'll grab the line tool again and we'll draw it from this corner to this corner. And then we can move this box out of the way, and you can see that we've formed a box that looks like a 3D box. Pretty much the same representation. The same thing, what we have to do here is we'll just move these around, and then we'll just insert a couple of lines, normally on the 30-degree angle, to try to give it the same representation, same way on this side. And if we go ahead and change the line weight and color, you can see that our cylinder is taking shape. The only difference is of course these lines don't exactly match up, but we'll change those in a little bit. The next thing we want to do from our clip art not our clip art, our shapes, is there's this tool down here that's called an arc. And so we'll choose the arc tool and we'll create an arc. Doesn't really matter what it is, because like we've done in the past, we'll go ahead and we'll change the size by 1 inch by 1 inch. Now when you can see on here, that has little yellow handles on it. We call them handles. Basically, you can pull that around so you can make the arc more or less of what you want it to do. And of course, the green is to rotate the arc around so that it matches what we have here existing, and we can line it right up with our current representation, and then we'll drag this off. So you can see that our cylinder is taking shape based on a lot of the criteria that we've been just drawing lines and so forth. So now we have our cylinder. The next thing is what you're going to do is just draw 2 lines and an arc using the same thing what we have here, but at that point you'll have to remove the front square, and you'll have to draw lines from here, here, and here, and also down there when you actually draw this particular shape in, as that way it looks like it's actually connected here. So at that point we can go back to our shapes again and grab our arc tool and just create an arc. What we want is a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and then we'll come up and we'll change the arc. We'll rotate the handle around and we'll drop it somewhere on our screen. Makes it look something like that. And then of course all we have to do is draw a couple of lines from here down to about the center of there. And the easy way to keep these lines somewhat parallel is we want to do a copy, and we'll paste it, and that way we can just line this one up and extend it down so that they're not wandering all over the place and making it look kind of bad. It's not an exact science using it in Word, but at least this way we can go ahead and get a good representation of what we want to do. As you'll see, what we have to do now is draw some lines to match the front square up, and that's all there is to it. We just have to go from here to here, and then another line from here up to this square, and another line from this square over to here, this corner I mean, and from this corner over to here, and then we can just drag this square out of the way, and you can see pretty much what we're actually going to wind up with. You have to play with it a little bit though. Okay, so I'll go through and change the weight of the lines. And we're done. A little bit of cleanup, but it looks pretty close to what we've have already.